crowd noises. Rabble. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's podcast, which this week will be brought to you by Mommy Putin and Smoking Hot Nudes.
This week's podcast is also brought to you by Fungible Unrest and Sexual Anarchy.
God. I am your host, Madison.
I am your other host, Jesse James. Welcome to our Conversational Leftist Mukbang. I'm going to start off with a quick correction. Last week, either at the beginning or somewhere in the middle of our ending stuff about the shooting of the person you were mentioning, bad with names right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, the shooting, go back to when that came out. You can find the shooting in the news, maybe. Probably not anymore. Anyway, that shooting was in Minneapolis, not Philadelphia, and I know that I said Philadelphia at least a few times, so that just wasn't correct. That was in Minneapolis. It was near.
Sorry.
It was near several other shootings. So anyway,
It's hard to keep your shooting straight.
yeah, and that happened in Kiev. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I'm sure I've heard that name floating somewhere.
A little bit recently.
All right. Well, we're back. Episode 91.
Feels like it's been longer than a week. Guess it probably has.
It has been a little longer, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have to eat and or drink today?
I got a pretty good setup today. So this afternoon I started not feeling good, and I thought, what would solve this is a DoorDash margarita. So I did that.
Hell yeah.
And it's a strawberry margarita. It's super syrupy, so I kind of let it water down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's good. And to complement that, I have paired a Modelo.
Nice.
With some tahini that I will be putting in it, and then also, of course, my pickle salt.
Yep, gotta have that.
Yeah. And
the world of beer salts really opened up when I came out here.
Yeah, I had never experienced the wonder and joy that is adding salt to beer until about a month or two ago, and I won't be going back to like before. I have some Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Excellent.
A very stale bag, and then an assortment of Japanese candy.
Oh, perfect.
I'm excited to try it. This one is a Country Man Choco Chip Cookie Vanilla, is what it says.
That looks correct. All the things I've had that look like that packaging have been good. So
I'm excited for that one. This one, the only English on it just says bourbon at the top, and it's kind of squishy. So I don't know what that is. This one is perplexing, and I might open it right now because it looks like an energy bar.
It looks like an energy bar, but it looks like it's in a Kit Kat wrapper almost.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
So I'm gonna try this now, and I also have a coffee.
Yeah.
To bring it all together. So this looks like. Kind of looks like a Rice Krispie, like chocolate covered Rice Krispie.
I like some kind of crackle.
This is weird.
Let me see that interior. Oh, it's almost like an Aero bar.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. It's like it's kind of like the cookie portion of a Twix.
Okay.
And I think there's some
sounds good.
Peanuts in here too. So I don't think an energy bar, but it's really good.
It's a kind of energy bar.
It is. I will take it.
Anything else? Or is that your spread?
That's my setup today.
Okay. Well, first up, I got some actual complaints that this didn't get used last time, so I held on to it. I will drink the jelly, okay?
Drink that jelly.
There we go.
I think I've drank jelly on this podcast not once but 2 times. So.
I'm sure you have jellified at some point in here.
It's only
food-wise, I have this is like a peppered salami. These are little pretzel, like everything bagel pretzel bits that are from Kin in town, and then some leaves. So that's my food. I have the remainder of those sour cream Thai chips from last time.
Those are good.
So I will be getting them there. I still have the end of this bad Chardonnay, but
fantastic.
As a mixer, I do have some Faygo Mood Mist, so I can officially run with the hatchet during this podcast.
I like the tagline "with a real kick" on the Moon Mist.
I got my usual big water, and then I've got this Delirium Tremens that you delivered recently. That was a few days ago when we were supposed to do this podcast and didn't.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
But you know what? We got some valuable stuff out of that trip, so you guys will hear about that later. Mm-hmm. And I think that is it. I do have a little snack for the ears in the form of a kazumpit. So, in case anybody's interested, I did finally get an oil funnel so I could remake one of my favorite instruments.
It's pretty good.
So you're welcome, everybody.
That'll just be cut right out of the noise of this podcast. Nobody's going to be able to hear that. Anyway, yeah, I think that's. Oh, and I also I have my usual iced coffee that is from coffee this morning that I made.
Excellent.
For if I need to talk about something and be coherent after I've been drinking these alcohols.
I just bank on literally no one holding me to talking coherently about anything on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
You should know what you're getting by this point.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is typically like a 2.5 hour or so long podcast, depending on what happens. And usually the last half is a slightly different mentality.
That's what I like to call the messy bitch zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where you get some weird shit and or tea, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open this now too.
All right, I'm gonna get into this jelly. Make sure I don't forget about it. That is a very.
It's thick.
Yeah, I just I was looking down the barrel when I squeezed some of it upwards.
Well, that's your first mistake. How's that?
The jelly's good. Where's my? Let me get a nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's a nice. It's a nice thick jelly, but it's still very like. It's got a plot to it.
Oh boy. So is it like jelly pieces in a liquid?
Yeah.
More so.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what the jelly shots that I got were, the sake ones.
Jelly shots, you say? I wonder
Oh boy.
if we could just spice this up a little. Oh, you're gonna want to go to a doctor.
That looks unfortunate.
Okay, I'm not gonna stir it with this cigar. Yes, I can reach this chopstick. We're not gonna do it on the podcast, but we do still need to use those cigars while we have the best possible flavor currently.
I mean, at this rate, we might as well save them for another, like, 5 years.
Yeah. Got this cigar in the rainforest a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
True test of
well,
time.
it's not good with that mixture, but it is very thick Chardonnay. So, I've been looking for a new nickname, and I've also been looking for something to supplement in when I'm not having hot mimosa. So this
thick
could
Chardonnay.
thick Chardonnay and a hot mimosa is a great way to spend a Sunday.
I think that's what they called Martha Stewart when she was in prison.
Well, Martha Stewart, when she was younger, was actually quite a hot mimosa, and now she is, in fact, sort of a thick Chardonnay. So it works out just fine.
Damn. That's what a bad pipeline. Hot mimosa to thick Chardonnay. We all.
I mean, if I had that direction, that's just fine with me.
I just pray to enter my thick Chardonnay days here real soon. Because I think I'm somewhere in the middle right now.
You're transitioning. Your Chardonnay is thickening.
I think we passed hot mimosa days, and we're just like somewhere in the middle.
Oh yeah. Just squeezing chunks into a lukewarm mimosa at this point.
Yeah.
Huh? Hey, everybody's got to have a flavor.
They do.
Oh, I mean.
If a Vladimir Putin had a flavor, what do you think that would be?
Vladimir Putin's flavor is like to make it something edible, to not take the low road and just say like shit. His flavor's
creative here.
His flavor is like one of those like snickerdoodles that they try to make a snickerdoodle by just covering it in cinnamon when they make like cheap cookies. But it's just doused in like old melted ice cream. It's sort of one of those like it seems like you can't go wrong with the cookies and ice cream, and that's the image he's trying to project. But it's really just a bad cookie and ice cream that kind of seems turned.
Yeah. I could see that. I would say like he reminds me of like the Easter mini eggs with like the chalky outer shell, but it's just chalky outer shell all the way down.
Oh, okay. So he's actually that's a good version. He's one of those like foil wrapped eggs that is garbagey, but there's no center to like break up the garbage chocolate.
No, it's just that horrible outer chalky pastel colored candy shell.
Okay.
But put multiple layers of that and then nothing in the middle.
Alternatively, I would say he's sort of like a Twix, but full of fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think the world would be better if you were Vladimir Putin's mother?
No. Do you have this poem ready? Because I heard that shit. I heard a little bit of that shit, and it was the fucking worst thing I ever heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna send that to you, and I would love like a live reaction. Because it's not. We don't have to watch the whole thing, because I'm not a torturer.
What's the context? Who did this? Because I literally heard like a little clip of this and like wanted to run away from it, and that's about my full knowledge of it so far.
I don't know who she is. She is an actress, and her name is Annalyn McCord.
Annalyn McCord.
McCord.
Okay.
So, just extreme, distilled white woman to the maximum, I think, is what's happening here.
All right. Let me follow this.
I'm hoping that link has the full poem, not that we have to watch it, but
somehow this is worse that this lady seems like she's younger than 40. Because when I heard this being read, I just immediately assumed it was somebody who was like, I don't know, quite a bit older. Yeah.
Somebody who might talk about being someone else's mother.
So I'm gonna balance this on my screen, full volume on the phone, and hit play, and just see how this goes.
Fuck yeah.
President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm. So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul-stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought.
This sounds like just right away like 5th or 6th grade poetry, which is rough.
You now decide no one.
It also has like that spoken word kind of rhythm to it, which is also
not hide nor away shy from taking back the world. It wasn't because so early in life all that strife.
What you're doing is not making this better.
She's spitting bars, dude.
Also, I just want to know, like, as a description, so that you have the full sort of, how would Karen change the world feel that this is giving me? She has bleach blonde hair. She's wearing a sleeveless turtleneck. She's sitting in a house that looks like young millennial royalty. Like it looks like a very nice New York apartment, maybe, or something.
My favorite part of this video visually that was pointed out during when I was watching Vosh on a stream is that she appears to have a large Buddha statue in the background.
Oh, she totally does.
But it's like wedged in front of her refrigerator. Like it's not supposed to be there, and it like she put it there as a background accent.
So it actually, the way that it's wedged in there, it looks at first glance like it's in front of her fridge, but it's not. It's okay. Fuck off. All of that sucked. There's nothing about that I like. I'm going to see if I can find a freeze frame of how smug she looked through most of this. That's a good one.
This
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just take a screenshot of that entirely because that is just the perfect encapsulation of this. Let's see if this will read. So if you look in the back corner there, you can see the fridge, but because of the way that the also chrome microwave is that comes out over the shoulder of the Buddha statue, it makes it look like it's in front. But what's crazier looking at this is that, okay, I know it's cold in here, phone. Let me zoom in and take this shot. Okay. What's crazier to me, just at first glance at least, is that even if the Buddha statue is not usually there, it looks like it could be there relatively often. It looks like there's a clear space over on the right side where it might have been.
I also love the idea for moving this statue just a lot.
Yeah. So it's underneath the microwave and in front of a piece of the counter that appears to have like a panini press and a bunch of candles on it. I don't know what this fucking lady's doing with her kitchen. That's not the point. But yeah, if that is where the Buddha statue is, it's got White Russians and mimosas stained into it at this point, because there's no way you're not at least hitting it with the door of the fridge and just like it's way too close to a lot of counter space. It's also like 5 feet tall, which is a lot for a wooden Buddha statue that you have in your house.
That's a Madison-sized Buddha.
That is a Madison Buddha back there.
Yeah.
Now let me Hannah Lynn McCord. I need to know who this person is. A little bit at least. Anna Lynn McCord, actor.
I need to know like what her recent credits are. I wonder if she's been in anything that I know, because I didn't recognize her at all.
Well, so the initial pictures that I'm seeing are just her standing next to a man that I generally refer to as either John Doe or Dracula.
It looks like Mr. Clean.
He does a little bit. So he was in movies in like the mid-thousands a lot. And I remember him being like, he's one of the characters from that Prison Break show that seemed like garbage that I never watched. And then where I remember him from is a movie called Grave Dancers, which is like a movie where like, it's not even precocious teens. It's like precocious adults go to a haunted house / graveyard and then like dance on graves, and then those like ghosts come to try and kill them. And I think there's a giant ghost face at the end. Anyway,
Wow.
So she's known for playing vixen type roles. This is off her own website.
Oh, like that's the byline.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, she first gained prominence in 2007 as the scheming Eden Lord on FX television series Nip Tuck. Yeah, ask me anything about Nip Tuck. That guy's name is Dominic Purcell. Just in case people are trying to... Okay, I'm not going to her site. I'm going to go to Wikipedia because that's probably going to help more. Okay. Career. Show me movies. She was on Nip Tuck. Thank you. She was in the 2008 90210. All
right.
She played, oh, no, wait, no. She was considered for the role of Heidi in the Twilight Saga New Moon.
Wow.
She accepted a role in the off-Broadway play Love, Loss, and What I Wore. She appeared in the Legends of Tomorrow episode Stressed Western, which I assume is why she's standing with Dominic Purcell, because I think he's in that show.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's an actual filmography. Nope. There's a movie called Amerigeddon.
She's also in one called Mexica.
Yeah, and American Skin, and A Soldier's Revenge, a movie called Feral State. Oh, she was in 2 episodes of Ugly Betty. I know that one.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That
might be the only one that I recognize.
Oh, I've seen this. She was in the pilot episode of Lucifer as a side character.
Okay.
And goddamn it, that is it.
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
I mean that tracks. This whole video really reads and comes off like a just a general self promo. Like, I wrote this poem and now I'm going to read it for a role maybe that she wants.
Yeah, this video really reeks and comes for sure.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like I don't remember years, 2019, when all the BLM protests were happening, or when they started that summer. It reminded me of like the sweeping wave of graphic designers who were just padding their portfolios with the most inane infograph bullshit, like just very performatively. And this is the actor equivalent of that.
Yeah. I remember a lot of, and this is kind of the same. It's a lot of stuff that's like, it's not critical of the state. It's not critical of the police. It's not critical of anything that's like structural that matters. What it's critical of is one person.
His mom.
Yeah, it's the how dare you, Derek Chauvin, like art piece of 2019. It's fucking garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about Putin's mom. I don't think it matters.
I mean, like, his parents probably weren't great, right? Because he went into the KGB, so his parents are probably garbage. But like, who cares?
That tracks. But yeah, I think there's a lot of different routes you can go after your parents being shitty that don't involve this outcome. But you know, he just really needed a mother's love to prevent all this violence. Anyway, you're welcome for that.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's great.
I can't wait for someone to make like a musical remix of it. I know it's probably already been done.
You could find it if you looked, but I got excited in the middle of what you were saying. I can't wait until somebody makes a musical about an alternate history Putin's mother.
Yeah.
That'll be the next Hamilton.
Yeah, what?
Can we get Lin-Manuel on this?
We have a really good idea for you.
Hey, I have the role of a lifetime for you. You still get to rap, but it's as Putin's mother. I think you could nail it. You're gonna have to wear this bleach blonde wig, though.
I would pay money to see that.
Yeah, I would probably watch that too. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of a thing that was one of the few things that I absolutely hated and could forget about this last week or so.
Yeah. It's that kind of shit, like, in comparing it to the graphic designer bullshit, cute little infographics about, like, I mean, like, that stuff is all helpful to a point. At least that kind of thing had, like, some sort of informational substance. This obviously doesn't have that, but that stuff severely contributed to my complete and total burnout for graphic design. So
yeah,
this shit kind of bothers me.
yeah, that was rough. That was during the time that I was doing the art cards to send to people, and like that was like it was on the tail end of it, and that was part of my whole thing was like I've been interacting with art online mostly, but now I just kind of need to like pull away from art on the internet altogether because it's just garbage right now, and work on something else. And it's still a little bit like that, honestly. I don't think until people can readily go outside and like not be stuck in their own head, we're gonna keep getting just the worst art.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's this like Instagram aesthetic of doing that sort of thing and like sharing stuff on your story just as like a performative. I think there's a lot of people who do it in an actually helpful way. There are a lot of posts that are actually helpful, but it is definitely exhausting. And after a while, like, yeah, you have to step away, especially if you're someone who's trying to make stuff, sort of in that vein. Like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, like if you want to be helpful towards stuff like that on Instagram especially as like a microcosm for it, my suggestion would be post whatever the fuck you're gonna post anyway, but instead of putting up a bunch of like meaningless like stuff, maybe put up like an occasional thing if you're proud of it, and then focus more on reposting things that are helping people organize and work to actually change something. Like I'm fine with that. That doesn't have a negative impact to get information out.
No, and honestly, I mean, like, the sheer just amount of that stuff that's being created is probably a net positive, but I think it is you tune it out after a while, and I don't want that to happen either.
Yeah, the overload of it, you're just, in a lot of cases, it feels like you're aging people out of caring even faster. Like you're boomerizing people at a clip that is quicker than it already was by getting them to not want to interact with the world at all so they can protect themselves. And then they end up on camera drinking goopus. And, you know, what are you going to do?
That's how it all ends. It really expedites the thick Chardonnay pipeline.
Chardonnay where the bubbles don't rise to the surface is really
God.
it's really something.
You've created like a bog.
Yeah.
Well, now you know if you need to preserve a tiny body.
Ugh. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get a lot more of this this goopus if I'm gonna keep myself fresh into eternity.
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta keep the color in that hair for all eternity.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Goopus has been transferred to cup only. For anybody who was worried about whether or not the goopus was going to happen, it's happening and it's worse than. Yeah, you can see the bubbles if you look.
Yeah, they're stuck. They're stuck.
Yeah. They ain't going nowhere.
Nice.
Well, I've got a number of things that are. Things are getting really dated really fast this year because like the events are just piling up in a weird way. So I'm just going to start from the Super Bowl because that's something that that's a little different from what we've been talking about. So to follow up on sexual anarchy, did you see Charlie Kirk's complaining about the Super Bowl at any point?
No.
Okay, I'll see if I can, because I think he pulled that video already like a day or so after it went up. But let's see if I can have you deal with that one.
This one wasn't even like that sexy. What does he talk like? What is the God?
Wait, everybody has to just do a reaction video. I can't get the raw feed.
We need the original. I'm gonna open this Countryman Choco Chip Cookie.
Yeah, you get in there.
Feels very. Oh, this is an actual cookie.
I just went past a Hassan like fan page YouTube, and their for their thumbnail they pulled out sexual anarchy in big red letters. So I'm not the only one who noticed that weird shit. Okay, yeah.
A phrase Charlie used?
Yeah. He calls it. So here's the thing. Charlie Kirk basically got on I forget if it was like the video was put out by like the Daily Wire, one of those like sort of far right weirdo but like trying to hide it kind of places, or not trying to hide it but having plausible deniability on being just fascist, and he got really into the idea that the halftime show was really unhealthy for children. And he goes as far as like basically saying the 14 words in what he's saying. But in addition to that, he also is he's like very critical in a way that is like just this side of N-word. Like he's very disturbed by the twerking. He's very disturbed by, which, to be fair, there was very little anything in there that I would consider twerking. There was also there was half a crump in there. I was very excited for a second. I didn't watch the halftime show until after I saw this, so I went in like looking for what he was talking about, and I ended up thinking it was fine. It was like aimed at people in their 40s, like, here's the halftime show, but
yeah,
we're in LA, so here's some like local famous people, and it was sort of built around like the Dr. Dre stable, which is, you know, about as milquetoast as you can get for that genre, and still having it be like hometown people. It was fine. Like I got into listening to 50 Cent recently because his music is still ridiculous, and so did you see the halftime show?
Yeah, I did. I'm like thinking back through it, and I don't remember seeing anything that I thought came to the like rose to being scandalous at all.
No. So Charlie Kirk was upset, but other people were really upset about Eminem like kneeling on stage, which was not like a. I heard so much about that and then watched it, and it's like he wasn't doing anything. Like he could have done that at any show, and it would have looked like normal ass like show stuff.
It looked so normal that I remember I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, have you seen all this stuff? People are saying that he was kneeling for like police brutality, and he was just like doing a show, and then everyone was like, no, he was actually kneeling for the cause. I was like,
yeah, I didn't pick up on that. Like, it did
at
not
all.
see like that. Yeah, it didn't seem like that was his intent.
Looked like it was a transition from one part of the song or the show to the next.
Yeah. But Charlie Kirk mentions it, but I think Alex Jones, when I was listening to that chunk of his stuff, which of course was even more racist than Charlie, not that much more than Charlie Kirk, but Charlie Kirk was already pretty fucking bad. Alex Jones said that he was like supplicating himself to the black race or something, like just like really fucking ridiculous. So the thing that Charlie Kirk got really hung up on was when 50 Cent comes down from the ceiling upside down in the spot where he starts. And I thought it was funny as hell because 50 Cent has always had like a really good like thick dude look, but he's like extra juicy now. He's got like his face is like almost round. Like he's got some serious like 50 Cent into DILF energy somehow. And like it was that was my favorite part of that was his section into what it was Mary J. Blige into Kendrick Lamar. So like that little chunk that was a little bit to the side of the like normal Dre stuff, I thought was the best part. But like there was nothing about that section unless you're just like weirded out by not even like a very direct strip club look, just like there were technically like stripper pole dancing like bits of flair, but like there wasn't any like real sexual anything in that whole show. So
yeah.
But that I immediately after watching that and the Charlie Kirk thing, I heard some people talking about how like he doesn't have a problem with the cheerleaders. So like I would say the cheerleading is more sexual than that halftime show was by like a fair margin. And his whole thing was like, people have 6-year-olds watching the Super Bowl. Like you can't show stuff like this. You're gonna ruin our children's minds. So the things that I wrote down because they were the weirdest shit. Number one, he references when he starts talking about the 50 Cent part and what he was saying that it was sexual anarchy, which is just like, okay, all right.
We're just putting words together at this point.
His Antifa sex squads descended from the strip club. Yeah, I would be into that. If Antifa took like a really sexy turn, I think that might actually be a great look for them.
Maybe they just need to cloak themselves in like NFL cheerleader, patriotic kind of uniforms and play it off like that. They'd be allowed everywhere.
Yeah, you switch the Antifa look to Dallas cheerleader. I think that's the most recognizable. Don't go as far as the Patriots because then you're into white supremacy territory. But go like Dallas, and then go just get all the fit boys and the workout girls right up in front, and wave a lot of flags around. Do some ribbon dancing, like.
Just get some like cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, like a lasso made of like strobe lights, maybe.
Get into some 2010 like stylish balaclava wear so you can keep anonymity, but the rest just like sexy, and then just still have the hard edge and loot those targets, because like honestly, that's the only shit that ever gets attention and any kind of like motion behind it. So do it.
Do it sexy.
do it sexy. It's gotta be fucking sexy. Like that's what I keep trying to say.
Make it sexy.
So first we get sexual anarchy underway, which I'm gonna add into our vague, like older age plans of living in the woods. I think we need to have a firm like cross between like a Ted Pilled and sexual anarchy kind of like vibe. So like look up our commune in 20 years or so. But then he also said that he's tired of people making all these excuses about how the halftime show is a spicy program, which that doesn't mean anything to me, but also like it's not like the only spicy thing that ever happens is when they like do some sort of like celebrity nip slip to like distract you from the Iraq war or something. Like that's the kind of shit that like our government and stuff would do constantly if they had like an excuse to. Like
I think that's the spiciest it's ever been.
Yeah. And then thank you Disney for that one as well. And then he also, the thing that, this is actually the weirdest thing he kept saying. I don't know football. I'm not a football person. He kept, and I say he kept saying it. He said this at least 5 times in different contexts of what he was talking about. But he kept saying these women were all bent over, like they were doing a long snapper. And I think that's just like a football like thing. I think that's like some kind of ball movement or something.
Yeah, I think so.
But the amount of times he kept like getting really into this, like, we're out there, like, it's okay, the guys are out there like to get down to business, but these women at this halftime show bent over like a log snapper. And it's just like, I don't know what to do with that. It was extremely weird to watch.
I think he just solidified that as like a sex position. Like single-handedly. It is now.
Yeah, podcast is going to be a little late. I got tied up in a long snapper, if you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think like what context have I even heard this word in? Like, isn't snapping the ball when you like throw it to the person? I'm not gonna try. I don't know. I've heard it in football. I know it's a thing.
I've absolutely heard of a snap, and I don't know what that actually is.
I haven't heard snapper. I don't think I've heard that. I think he is
but long snapper, I feel like is a he's creating like a full scene of what some kind of snap is. But I really have no idea.
He just is upset that he's not getting his long snapped, that's all.
2021 Pro Combine presented by Kohl's. Kicking, punting, and snapping, long snapping finals. There's people doing long snapper trick shots. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and
wait, is this like an actual move that I can like look up a video?
I'm sending you a screenshot of my phone that might be my favorite football related thing that I have now, because what the fuck ever.
Yeah. That's pretty that's good. Long snapper. So it's just throwing the ball behind you, and I assume like really far through your legs.
Amazing work, everybody.
All right, well. Okay.
It also, like, in that context, it really comes off like Charlie Kirk was pulling a Ben Shapiro at the hardware store with a single 2x4. Like, Hey, I know what a long snapper is, okay? I'm Charlie. I'm a big man. I'm a hard man. I know what a long snapper is, okay? I got this plank of wood. I'm going to go build a shed. Obviously, I love wood. I'm a big wood guy. I'm a hard wood boy.
It reminds me of, like, I remember before the Super Bowl, there was a TikTok circulating that's like, here are 3 things to say if you want people to think you know what you're talking about when you talk about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I feel like dropping long snapper somewhere in a conversation is like one of those things.
Yeah.
Or maybe long slapper. That's what he really wants.
Yeah, that guy's got a real long slapper on him, you know what I mean? Like, you see him before the game, long slapping all over the place. I didn't even know what to think of it. It was amazing.
Whatever. Charlie Kirk is stupid. His face is small.
His face is very small inside of his head. It is weird to see. No face shame, I guess, because on the other side,
Charlie Kirk.
On the other side of that small face, big head coin is my boy AI, and he's still out there eating spinach and getting his gears all ground up. So you know he's got it going. Haley Joel Osment. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's doing pretty well. Isn't he married to Meghan Trainor?
Meghan Trainor. Who's Meghan Trainor? I've heard the name for sure.
She has what was her, like, big pop song?
Oh, is she the bass lady?
Yes.
Okay.
No trouble.
That is a totally different set of people. Wait, is that?
I just remember a while ago a photo of them circulating where she's carrying a bag of dildos, and they're just like walking down.
That's
they seem
dope.
like a cool couple.
Oh, that's. Wait, is that his daughter? Okay, yeah, that must be his daughter. Her face hasn't shrunk yet, so.
Yeah.
He looks legitimately like very pleased in these photos, which is pretty cool.
Or is it him with Meghan? I hope they're still together.
I'm
not spreading celebrity misinformation.
I don't think so. I think they might be. Wait, no, is that his sister? That might be his sister, actually.
I gotta find.
Yeah, that's his sister. He has a bunch of sister photos.
Okay, Haley, Joel, Meghan. Wait, oh my God, I'm totally mixing people up. It's not Haley Joel. It was.
Oh, it's Charlie Kirk?
No, it's the kid from. Fuck. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up before I mess it up again.
Is it? It's not one of the kids from Stranger Things, I hope, because that would be a.
No, that would be a lot.
Topher Grace.
It's Junie from Spy Kids.
Oh.
I don't know why my brain was like, yeah, these are the same people. They're not. Very different.
Why do you?
Anyway.
That's weird.
That's
okay.
That's a weird 2 people to mix up, but
yeah.
And I remembered it as Haley Joel. Whatever.
All right. Well, Haley Joel Osment looks like he's doing just fine. He's hanging out with his sister, and he's. I did see some dating pictures of him and a very tall woman, so he's got fine taste. He's out there doing it. He's got good roles in things. Last I've seen, so.
Slapping that long.
He's doing a lot better at long slapping than fucking Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's wife is like a weird conservative like model, like she does like bikini modeling and stuff, I think, which is especially weird now that I think about it, because
I would not think that would be allowed.
yeah, right? Like he's complaining about that halftime show, which literally at that point, your wife does modeling, the cheerleaders seem to be a non-issue. So I'm pretty sure the only thing you could be upset about is things that present to you as being black, which,
yeah.
Thanks, Charlie Kirk. And saying that we have to protect our children from it. I mean, like, it's like those assholes always are. They're fucking birth of a nation every day, but they act like they're normal people. It's not fucking normal to be a huge racist.
It's really hard to find pictures of his wife.
Did you type in Charlie Kirk's wife?
Yeah, I did. Erica France B. Yeah, she looks like a bikini model, but like.
Yeah.
American businesswoman, podcaster, political activist, former beauty pageant queen, believer, and entrepreneur.
So I would put her like a step below us then. She's got the negative strikes against her being a podcaster and a child pageant person. So, like, we're doing better than Charlie Kirk's wife. That's good.
That is good. That makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. Also, neither of us are married to Charlie Kirk, so.
Yeah, not yet.
That's the last step of the plan.
I like a normal God-fearing face. I don't want the face to have that much power.
I like a small, stern face.
Yeah. It's like it's Charlie Kirk looks like he's an angry man looking through a keyhole at all times.
Yeah, I think when we watched that Turning Point, what was like, it was like a conference they were putting on. That was, I think, the longest I'd ever watched him talk, and that was a lot.
Yeah, he sucks. He's not charismatic. He's not interesting. He's not, like, he doesn't have good ideas. He's just a fucking dipshit. But I think he's one of the, like, bunch of people who got, like, Coke money at one point. So he's just kind of, he's got enough clout to stay in people's eye. There's definitely not anything else that's keeping him there. It's just fucking weird rich racists want him to be on camera. I'm gonna
get into that
delirium. I am, but I have a little piece of everything bagel stuck in my teeth, so yeah, congratulations everybody.
Oh, that's actually a good segue to my other topic.
Yeah. Smoking
hot nudes.
I saw that image you made. I enjoyed it.
Oh, which one?
You made a nudes image.
Oh, yeah, that one. That is, I guess, somewhat inspired by what I'm about to talk about. So, I have been
pretty good.
Yeah, I really like those. I have been compiling recipes in hopes of, in the next like month or so, starting to make little cooking TikToks or something.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, the idea was started because I have a cookbook, a Japanese cookbook from my great grandma. It's not like her recipes, but it's just about like traditional Japanese cooking. Okay. And my plan is to cook through that at some point. But in the meantime, I have other recipes that I'm trying. But I've been seeing on TikTok a lot chili oil noodles.
Yeah.
And I have been making those a lot, and they're really fucking good.
Hey, if you need to test any of these nudes, I'll try them out.
I think we should have a chili oil noodle night because I genuinely I have been burnt out on ramen for a while.
Yeah.
Just like regular ramen with the broth. I usually will do something to like dress it up a little bit, but I've kind of been...
she's a real regular ramen with the broth over there.
I try and like throw an egg in or, you know, some sesame oil or something to make it a little fancier. But lately I have just not been interested in ramen with broth. But the chili oil noodles are really good, especially if you like spicy stuff. And you basically, it takes like 10 minutes. You just take like minced garlic and like chopped up green onion. What else? What else did I put in that? Like red pepper flakes. You can use a little bit of the flavor packet, but it gets really salty really quick if you do that. So I usually just leave that out and put in like soy sauce and rice vinegar, a little bit of sugar, and I think that's it. And basically what you do is you just cook the noodles, put them in a bowl, put all that stuff on the noodles, and then heat up until it's smoking some like chili oil, and then just pour the oil over everything, and it makes like that super satisfying, sizzling, crispy noise on all the stuff. And then you just toss it all together, and it's so fucking good.
I mean, this sounds really good. That plus a nice like stir fries set of vegetables and stuff. That seems like it could be real nice.
Yeah, I think I haven't had it with too many vegetables. I think I put shiitake mushroom in one, which is good, but shiitake is such a strong flavor that I think maybe I would do.
Yeah.
Like bok choy or just some other kind of green or I don't know.
Shiitake is really good, but it's also one of those where like when you cook it, it almost gets more intense.
Yeah.
So like if you want to incorporate it early, something else, even if they're just like the little white mushrooms might be better. Some bellas.
Yeah, I think that would be good because I bought a bag of just the dehydrated shiitake mushrooms from the Japanese market here, and I tried rehydrating a bunch to put in miso soup for breakfast, and it basically just kind of tasted like shiitake soup, which for me is not a problem, but it is a very strong flavor. And my mouth tasted like shiitake for a really long time after.
Problem. When I was making like basically it was like a mushroom pho, but I was making a like soup each day when I got back from work, and just like adding different shit to it, and shiitake mixed with like a couple other types of mushrooms just on their own can make a really nice like flavored broth soup kind of thing. But yeah, once you add other stuff, like I could add like certain fish, like certain food things that would come through and taste good. But a lot of things that I tried adding little bits of, just like it was texture and that's it. Like you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
So something that we might want to consider when it comes to your noodle endeavors is that I live with somebody who makes the correct way their own ramen noodles. And we could learn how to do that and just start fully making this like dish.
Yeah. That would be spectacular. That would be even better. Homemade noodles are ideal.
We also have noodle making equipment here, and to test out, we could probably get spare noodles show up here from kin as well, so we could try it out before we dive in too hard. Maybe that would be a nice thing to roll into. Sort of side planning, but before the next podcast, I want to try and get that movie I've been talking about in, and that really only, I think, is like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday availability here, because I want to get my roommate in. But that would be a good time to test out them nudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like that. Mm-hmm. It would probably just make it so much insanely better. I just love the satisfying sounds of the hot oil on the on everything, cooking everything. It's been really good, and I can't wait to get tired of it in like a few weeks.
You got to rotate stuff, that way you can keep thinking about that instead of getting completely burned out. For here,
yeah,
same kind of idea. But
that's kind of the hope with like this cooking TikTok things. It'll give me an extra impetus to actually make the recipes that I save all the time to do. But yeah.
I've been having some noodle adventures, but they're much less, like, I don't know. There's less experimentation on my end. It's just kind of been, well, you tried a tiny bit of it. That was just with like the Nong Shim, like hot and spicy noodles, and then adding stuff that I'm cooking to it. But
those are the ones that I've been using mostly for the chili one. Those are good.
They do a good nude.
They do.
So I kind of wanted to touch on the stuff that we skimmed over a little bit at the end of the last episode, the NFT stuff. So to recap a little bit, because I didn't really spend any time on it. NFTs, they're garbage. They've got the whole world thinking about them, and that's like the only thing they're really good for, is to be worth more money because people think that they're worth anything. The thing I mentioned last week that I'll mention again because it is the best version of how stupid this is, other than Crypto Land. Crypto Land, you can go ahead and look into yourself, but that is essentially a island that they're trying to buy off the coast of Fiji to make a crypto adult Disneyland thing.
God.
But very clearly in that process, what their intention is to have a place that is not governed by an immediate government, that is in essentially open water, that allows them to do things like federal regulations and things they're most interested in. It's off the coast of Fiji, the island that they're trying to turn into this, and it's real fucking dumb. And I don't know, like, if you look up Cryptoland, there's like I want to say a half-hour long cartoon / infomercial basically about it, that has some of the ugliest 3D animation in it you can find. It's like a weird, like, DreamWorks guy looking person walking around with like a really ugly animated Bitcoin that's telling him about like all the things they're gonna have there. It's, yeah, I'll make you watch it maybe in a day or so. Anyway, it's really bad. But there, if you go on, if you look up their deleted tweets and stuff, the people who are doing it, which I think is like mostly off an account called the Crypto Lander, you can kind of find a bunch of the stuff for it. And they literally were like getting questions about age of consent laws. They were like, mental maturity should be good enough, winky face. It's just like, that's not good. Something's
I don't like that
bad over there. So yeah,
mental
it's
maturity.
libertarians being libertarians still, because they're all fucking creeps. American libertarians, at least. I don't know, probably most places, but anyway.
I feel like, yeah, the mental maturity being mentioned in anything is just, that's a pretty big red flag right up front.
Facts don't care about your feelings or your age of consent laws, I guess is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately will probably get brought up in another topic later. Anyway, so the thing I actually wanted to mention, because this is like the thing that is more real world consequences of what crypto is beyond that thing that your kids, grandkids, friends, whatever are into and you don't understand. So the crypto mining in China got cracked down on because China is trying to like not destroy the earth through like complete neglect of greenhouse gases and stuff. And crypto just kind of uses whatever power it can get at huge amounts because of the amount of computing it's doing. It's essentially the same as like when you use your computer, it gets hot, they're using thousands of computers to do one thing at a time in a really arduous version of it. So they are essentially using computers in a way that is way worse than people just use, like what we're doing right now with using the internet and using like Skype. That's probably like, for the amount of time we're doing it, if we were mining crypto, our on that graph would even be a day, the amount of like all the functions of a large modern house used for like multiple years are trying possible, because doing it as much as possible is the only way to make it that's all to say. China cracked down on it because it was ruin their efforts to like reach a healthier system, like not have like fuck tons of carbon emissions, all that kind of shit. So they basically put a bunch of laws out that ban people from doing any sort of like large crypto mining, anything. And then what happened is a bunch of them that were not going to stop doing it moved into Kazakhstan. And they started crypto mining there because they had extra power from like their abundance of natural gas, but they didn't have a ton of people compared to like other places. And what ended up happening very quickly, so imagine you start hearing about cryptocurrency in like real bit mining terms, what, like maybe 5 years ago? And it's been around since like the turn of the century, but like not in any sort of like real way.
Right.
So over the course of a very short amount of time, with China doing those laws and stuff in like the last couple years, they went into Kazakhstan, started doing their crypto mining, and used so much energy that they had to double their price for their natural gas to the people of Kazakhstan. So now they're having like political unrest and like protests because they doubled the prices of their utilities to keep up with the fact that they are having to like deal with this new giant energy drain that they're like infrastructure can't even handle. So essentially, crypto mining has now thrown an entire country into political unrest just by existing. So Kazakhstan's now trying to push them all out and trying to repair the fact that they're like having, you know, basically attempted like governmental changes to like kick people out who would allow this in the first place. People are like not able to like afford to heat their own homes and shit like that. So that's all a nightmare. Because people that people are now all moving into Texas because Texas decided that the way they were going to fund their fixing the fact that their power grid and all that stuff is absolute trash, because it is. We all saw it happened last winter or whatever. Or the winter before last, but now that I guess we're kind of getting into spring. Who can tell? We're in Idaho. Who the fuck knows right now? It's winter. So
for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, they're moving into Texas, which they want to, according to like Cruz and Abbott and those fucking monstrous dickholes, they're trying to get the money that the crypto is going to bring in, which is already like sort of a weird, like, yes, they are people who are moneyed, but also like it's real shaky. Like they might use a lot of energy and then not have money later. Like who the fuck knows? So they're encouraging them to come there and use their excess power in areas that are really lightly inhabited because Texas is so big. Mm-hmm. But they explained on, I forget what I was watching. It was like a investigation into like current things to like work with Texas. They assumed that by bringing in, heard a weird sound at my window. 1 second.
Fixed.
Yeah, fixed. The like essentially like the greenhouses, your grandparents' greenhouses, something like that, but like 10 times the size. Those are popping up all over with like essentially computer farms in them to mine in Texas. And they're trying to get them to move there so that they can be part of the money that allows them to fund without using state stuff, because they probably want to give it all to the fucking police and like oil subsidies, into creating new power plants to like update Texas essentially. But instead of that happening in the last like year since this has started happening, instead the like local governments and stuff aren't getting that much money. They're like, they just have these like they just have a giant gentrifying force of like people with money moving in. But those people with money are finding ways to not pay for things because of course they are. And that is in turn making it so that the only way for them to supply power is to reactivate old, worse power plants that run off of worse, like that are like unupdated coal plants and stuff to keep enough energy. And so essentially Texas is like reverting to being even worse when it comes to power usage.
Yeah. And
the projection that, and this is not a projection from like some economist somewhere, this isn't a projection from like a show I was watching. The state of Texas's projection based on this happening is that they're going to quintuple their energy usage in 1 year. So by 2023, they expect to have 5 times the energy usage in Texas that they did a month and a half or so ago. So that's fucked. And that's really cool that they're getting that energy from just like coal plants and shit now, because of course their weird scheme of if rich people are here, it'll just fix it doesn't fucking work, because rich people don't pay for shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not gonna like up taxes because, well, you know.
And doesn't seem like they would be doing much to really offset all the much older, worse energy.
No, they're not offsetting shit.
Yeah.
So now it's looking like, this is just my projection, I think the actual way to clean up the world's energy usage is to just keep the rest of the world working on making things more energy like compliant to a world that won't die, so that it chases all of the people who don't like that to our libertarian hellscape, and that just like glass the whole country. I think that's what's going to work best. Ideally, it would be some sort of The Happening situation where the trees kill us and it's not like explosions that make things worse. But like, that's probably the right path to take.
Yeah, ideally it would be like in the fucking, did you watch the entirety of the Netflix Cowboy Bebop remake?
I have a real stomach for bad shit, and I am halfway through. I'm one episode less than halfway through, and it is so fucking bad. And I love the original show, so watching it, it's like they... Tell me what you're going to tell me. I can't just complain about this.
I have not seen The Happening, but one of the episodes...
I did see the episode you're thinking of, yes. Yeah. That would be perfect.
Yeah. Ideally, that's what it would be, so everyone explodes into trees because of some, like, fungal bio-warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be way into that. The cartoon version of that from the old show was regressing into apes, I think.
Okay. I don't think I ever saw that episode.
Yeah, that show is really good as an entire thing, but it has a strange arc where the beginning of the show is like introducing characters, and then they level off and have like a fifth of a season of like really, really strong storytelling. And then like they wanted to tell a bunch of side stories before they got to the arc that sort of ends off the series. Mm-hmm. So they shove like 3 or 4 tiny arcs of other things and a movie in that like 10 or 15 episodes of space in the middle. So it's just fucking all over the place. So I think a lot of people, once they get past that first arc where they finally talk about like, hey, why is Spike like this? Then all of a sudden, like, I think the weird back and forth in that show can like kind of push people away for like a few episodes. And a lot of people, I think, stop there. But once you see the whole series, it's really frustrating because every single episode basically has like a thing that it tells you about each thing you need to know at the end. So like it's a weird state of like, watch all these side stories, they're important, but like it really doesn't telegram that. It's a good show, but it's easy to drop off of, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me when I was watching through it.
So we watched some shows recently, and we're going to talk about them. But that just reminded me that, bad shows are hard to really find, and it sounds like we're both about halfway through this bad show. I think we could probably have a couple of drinks of some kind and like just make the rest of it happen. and that might be the only way that I'm ever going to see the end of that garbage.
The Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
Oh, I already powered my way through that one, but I'll rewatch it.
Hey, that's commendable.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Side note, I almost had one of my topics for this episode be Tesla apartheid. I didn't because I thought that fungible unrest was a funnier thing to say. But it's been an ongoing thing, but did you hear about Tesla's whole fucking like racism problem?
I've heard about it, but I have not seen what is like in the news recently.
Okay. So, very quick recap. Anybody who's a Tesla stan out there, don't go anywhere. Elon Musk is already a giant hunk of shit, but like, there is currently a bunch of lawsuits happening, one of which was won, and that's important in a second. Tesla has been essentially separating out its races of workers, and it has a black working building that people call like a bunch of real racist shit, and people are real racist to the people in it. I don't remember the exact terms, and I don't feel like just saying the N-word over and over in front of like other shit. But for anybody who thinks that that's not as bad as it sounds, one of the people who have won their case so far won like 30-some million from Tesla for they won a case for it wasn't defamation, it's like the smaller version of that, for like workplace harassment, and specifically like racial workplace harassment. If you're paying out over $30 million to somebody who works at a fucking car shop for workplace harassment, that shit is happening.
It's gotta be bad.
Yeah, there is no question. The idea to start with that there is racially segregated working buildings should be a real red flag.
How is that framed? Like, is it, do they frame it as like, this is a POC space, and then it just got worse from there? Or like, how did that go? How did that even begin? Because I don't see Tesla as being a company that would be like, here you go, POCs, this is just for you. But maybe, I don't know.
I don't think, let's see, yeah, from The Guardian, California racial segregation at factories. Let's see if they have any specifics on how they how they talk about it. Department claimed black Tesla workers were subjugated to racist graffiti and racial slurs. Agency said it filed its lawsuit in Alameda County. Yeah, Tesla described it as misguided. Sure. Attacking a company like Tesla that has done so much good for California should not be the overriding aim of a state agency. Great. Thanks, Tesla. Let's see. A former contracted elevator operator who worked at the plant between 2015 and 2016 was harassed and faced daily racial epithets, including the N-word. Employees drew swastikas and left racist graffiti and drawings around the plant. He was awarded $6.9 million in damages for emotional distress and $130 million in punitive damages.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. This particular thing from The Guardian doesn't get into their method of splitting up stuff, but that is one of the main things I've been hearing about. Is it sounds like it was Tesla's attempt to internally break down some of the like racist stuff, was just simply to unsurprisingly do what South Africa did and push the races into separate places.
I was gonna say, this is like bringing it back. Thanks, Elon.
Yeah.
It's just going with what he knows, I guess.
Just
I don't know.
following suit. Anyway, that was just a little side thing. I might save some of this because like it's not that interesting for right now, but there obviously, you know, I would, if I were to choose a side in Ukraine being its own country and the insane ramblings of a weird faux czar, I'm gonna pick the Ukraine out of the two for this conflict. But not to put any like rosy light on any of it, the way that America has been helping has been just garbage, because Ukraine in the last like decade or so has been having a far right problem that has kind of taken over its police forces. And essentially what happened is a bunch of right-wing volunteers, what you could like sort of compare to our like 3%ers and people like that in the US, and neo-Nazis in the US, because these people in the Ukraine are just full-on Nazis. They are they're a white supremacist Nazi, like idolizing Nazi regimen. They have the 2 lightning bolts. They have the black sun. They have patches with all that stuff on them. Their outfits are yellow and blue because, of course, but like it is literally just Nazi uniform stuff. And they have been rolled into, much the way that like the fucking QAnon weirdos and like 3%ers and Proud Boys and all them were begging Trump to roll them into like helping to police people in our country. It did happen in the Ukraine, and they rolled in all these like really fucked up white supremacist groups. And they've been having like advertisements, like trying to make them like more socially acceptable. But a lot of those are things like, I think ABC and like CNN and a bunch of like our news media has been over there literally filming these like Nazi groups training civilians to like help with the coming, this is from like 2 weeks ago, help with the coming Russia invasion. And you can see their fucking Nazi insignias, and you can see their like Nazi tattoos, like just straight up like Nazi runes and shit. And it's not a mistake, like they are Nazis. There's the people who are in lead of these groups. There's plenty of images of them like zig heiling at like rallies and stuff. And then like plenty of pictures of them hanging out with like John McCain, Dick Cheney. There's straight up a picture of like, there's a guy doing a full-on zig heil who is currently in control of that like weird pseudo police force. And there is also a picture of him with Joe Biden just like doing the shaking hands and smiling. He looks like he's in the same goddamn outfit. Like it is all within the last few years. So like none of this is like, oh, we didn't know. Like we are obviously funding Nazis. We're doing it to like help arm Ukraine, but it's also like we should be maybe diverting our money to something that would help Ukraine as a country and not just arming Nazis so that they can try and like keep getting more power, because they have through American money, they have gotten all the power that they've gotten. They weren't like rich. They didn't like come in and do it all of their own accord. They got help from us. So
Right. Well,
that's
we do have an
that's
illustrious history of being very discerning as to who we arm.
yeah.
And
I mean,
support.
to be fair, we did do the exact same thing with the Nazis everybody thinks of. So like, sure, but like, you hate to see it again, like, especially when people are trying to paint Putin as Hitler. Like, I think fucking like People or Time or one of those that does like covers that are garbage all the time did like a Putin with a Hitler mustache or some garbage. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is, like, if Putin's Hitler, they've got their own Hitlers over there, and they're kind of like mashing them together. Really, it would be nice if they could just kind of like all go fight off to the side, and then the people of Russia and the people of Ukraine could like have some time to just not worry about it. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Preferable for sure.
That's your Nazi news. I mean, go Ukraine. I'm still like, I would prefer if they did well and Russia's already got like gigantic losses. I was listening to Chelsea Manning talk about it earlier. A ex-analyst for the military, but it sounds like Russia's losses are like extreme, and I mean it makes sense. They're kind of like they're already at the disadvantage of being the invading force. There was a fair amount of warning. There's been like a decade of warning for like getting ready in a sense, and then they also have a bunch of like our American military like weapons and stuff coming over there for, what is it? Is it lethal aid? I think that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, something like that. Lethal aid.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's complicated. Hey,
it is. Yeah.
It's complicated.
Here. We are your number one geopolitics source, so you're welcome.
I love geopolitics.
I am not at all confused by it and scared to talk about it.
No. Not confused, not frightened, none of that stuff. We're a
scared.
Solid informational unit over here.
I did have a very, very vivid dream that I was back, like, living in Spokane, and for some reason, Russia was like, guess we're gonna bomb Spokane. Because, of course, that's where they would.
I think Spokane's pretty safe. I think the radiation in Spokane will get them before.
Yeah, they have other things to worry about. Russia's probably like, leave them alone. They'll deal with it on their own.
Yeah, that's their own. They've got it.
They've got it handled. But in my dream, I took refuge inside of a Panda Express that was run exclusively by teenagers, and it was weird because I was like going through the drive-through of this Panda Express, and they were all on their phones, and they were like, we're fucking closed because there's a bomb coming, and I, for some reason, hadn't heard of this. And so we all got out of the car and sheltered in the basement of the Panda Express.
Yeah, got to.
This feels like a very good metaphor for, I mean, my general understanding and feeling about this entire situation. But
I think around the time the invasion started, I texted you about a dream I had, and you said you just had a really vivid dream also. Was that dream?
It might have been. This was a couple of days ago, so I think this one's more recent, but I don't know. I've had a lot of vivid dreams lately. Because
I had a dream that was like also very stress-based, but also like nonsense. Not that taking refuge in a Panda Express is nonsense. I would do it in a second.
It's very serious.
but it was like a weird school that you and I and a handful of people were like in, but like not really other students, but it was fully staffed and a murder had happened. And it was this weird, like, it's not a murder mystery party, but it's also like very serious and we need to get to class. And it was the weirdest, like, this does not make fucking sense at all. But it was very cinematic. It was interesting.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds like an interesting dream.
It was like if you took all the magic and wonder out of Harry Potter. And
it's just death and tests, I guess.
But at least there'd be like more empathy towards trans people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be preferable. Go ahead.
I wanna put in one more Russia bit because it's the weirdest, the absolute weirdest sympathy plea that I have seen so far coming out of the Ukraine. Like, plenty of, you guys are in a fight and people are dying. Everybody understands that, I think, on a general level, and should be sympathetic. But the thing that I saw like a couple hours before the podcast was, we're really sorry to announce this, but Russia destroyed the world's largest plane. Plane. They just they have a big plane in the Ukraine and Russia blew it up or something.
Was there like a commercial plane?
It's called an Antonov AN-225 Maria. And
yes, the Antonov A225 Maria. And
Maria just means dream. So it's this like just, I don't know. It's fucking stupid. It kind of feels like if somebody was like reporting on like China and Russia ganging up to bomb the US and they were like, they blew up the biggest donut in the US. Okay.
Oh my god, the biggest ball of yarn is gone.
Yeah. They burned it down. I never got to see it.
Damn.
Anyway, it was a big plane. Go ahead.
R.I.P. big plane, I guess.
Rip plane.
Big plane. I did see one other clip, like kind of adjacently related to this, of a old grandma from Ukraine talking to a Russian soldier. Mm-hmm. And someone had, I guess this was like someone's reaction to news coverage that they had posted on TikTok, and they had translated what she was saying to the soldier. And it was captioned as like the greatest burn of all time. And basically what happened is this grandma went up to the soldier and handed him a bunch of sunflower seeds.
Okay.
And she was like, here you go. I can't wait to see the sunflowers bloom from your rotting corpse when it inevitably disintegrates into the ground.
God.
Like, damn, Grandma.
Yeah, some of that Ukraine shit has been like, people are tired of this shit. Like the Snake Island stuff of them being like, hey, we're coming, and they're just like,
fuck you.
Bomb us, I guess, assholes. So, like, I think it was only like 13 or so people, but it was like, that shit's crazy. Like, yeah. And I get it. Like, I think that in some ways that is how COVID deniers envision themselves in the U.S.
Yeah, probably.
And seeing people who have to deal with real shit doing that. That's what it is. It reminds me of the fucking truckers in Canada. Their grievances are being addressed as though they are similar to like the Ukrainian grievances of like, there's just like a whole bunch of people with guns and missiles and stuff coming to kill us. And then the fucking truckers in Canada are like, I guess they're just gonna get to keep killing us. Fucking our prime minister is Hitler now because he's not being nice to us, eh?
I don't remember who was talking about this, but there was someone that was like comparing the gravity of the discussion of like placing sanctions on Russia to like the seizing of the truckers' personal assets. That's how that was happening in Canada. It's like these are not really comparable.
Not especially similar.
But okay, sure. Fuck, I forgot what I was. Oh, earlier today I was listening to Red Scare. I was curious to hear like their take on all of this because Dasha is from Belarus, or they're both from Russia. She's from Belarus, I think, and then Anna, I think, is from Russia. So I was curious to hear what they were saying, and honestly, I didn't quite retain their actual takes, but there was a solid like 20 minutes of the podcast where they were just looking up what Putin's zodiac sign was and talking about if it like made sense with everything that was happening.
He's got a lot of cusp Gemini energy.
I think what was funny is like he actually was a Virgo, I want to say. I'm actually Googling Vladimir Putin zodiac sign.
Yeah, that seems like the right path, but you can say it.
Oh, he's a Libra.
The scales, baby.
Yeah, that's ominous. I don't like that very much. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. What the fuck? Guess there's this website that compiles celebrity and like famous people's personality types, enneagrams, zodiac signs. So he is an ISTP. I don't know how people judge these.
Huh. Yeah.
And he's a 6 wing 5. So
I don't, when you're like a complete sociopath, I don't know how to like put you into a category like that.
Yeah, I don't know who's taking the Enneagram test for Putin, but I feel like maybe they didn't do it right. I don't know what I would exactly place him as, but whatever. Anyway, it reminded me that it's been a while since we've done our co-star corner.
Oh yeah.
Which also reminds me, I need to download co-star on my new phone.
Well, let me pop in there real quick and see what it's telling me today. Oh Jesus. Today my headline is "Never Sentiment, Only Reality."
It's upsetting.
It says power and routine and social life. All right. Keeps trying to get me to try Eros with a partner.
Yeah.
I'm good. Are you rejecting new ideas? You feel argumentative. Instead of being a human antenna, try letting go of old thoughts. Focusing on nostalgia only reveals the vengeance behind your words.
Damn.
Holy shit. Don't! Announcements, algorithms, or glass objects, but do scribbles, copy-paste, and hitting shuffle.
That don't category just sounds like you shouldn't go on Twitter. No Twitter.
Yeah. You settle for people who make you feel difficult. Okay? Madison, sadness just because it feels more comfortable.
Okay, fuck off, co-star.
That's what it says.
God damn it. This app is so fucking mean. Today, I am still waiting for the right words to say.
Oh.
Are you looking for a megaphone? Oh.
Are you?
I am looking for a kazoo trumpet, though.
Oh, a kazumpet. Come on.
A kazumpet, thank you, yes. Today you feel torn between constructive and destructive criticism.
Huh.
Okay. Today I'm supposed to do brainstorming, annotations, and flip side.
I think they
Don't.
meant flip mode.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck? Don't tallies, pocket dictionary, or platforms.
Huh.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
said
that's
it for
about right.
sadness because it's more comfortable. Great. Thanks.
It says that I still have my clairvoyant mindset. Is that like, can I get a clairvoyant grind set? I mean, I'm looking for a job, so.
I mean, same, I guess. Oh, did I tell you the other day I found a job listing for working on a mushroom farm?
Oh, you did mention this. That is exciting because I think we've even mentioned that in the podcast.
Yeah.
That's like ideal.
Dream. Yeah. That's like what I'm looking for right now, but it's in I want to say Parma, so it's like an hour away. Not super realistic.
Do they need 2 people, and can they pay for a small shack for the weekdays? Because if so, that could actually be really great for the podcast, because we could get the podcast done in the middle of the mushroom farm days and then come back here to have like our 3 or so days off to, you know.
That's true.
Run it like a fish cannery or something where you work like 10-hour days and then have like a slightly larger weekend.
Just get paid like a fraction of what fish cannery workers get paid. I think it was like
no, fish cannery workers get paid like, it might be more now. It's probably like $8 an hour, but in like in the mid thousands, I think it was like sub $6 an hour. Like you just work so many hours that you get paid a lot of money at the end. Yeah.
Well, that's upsetting news.
Yeah, no, fish cannery work has never been like actually good pay. It's just that you get it all in a lump sum. I want to say like even in the mid thousands, the people that would go for like a season could be like 4 to 5 months, and at the end you would have like $13,000 or something. But when you consider that that's a year's wage and you work like 18-hour days a lot of the time, like it's really not worth it. Like it's kind of bullshit. Yeah,
that's a lot worse than I thought, so maybe not.
But if you were in the spots where you could die easily and you were getting high yield stuff, the people who get crab get paid really well. But the people who just work at a cannery get paid fucking garbage.
Well, that's upsetting news.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a screenshot of the listing.
Good.
I found it on Craigslist, where all good job listings are.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun lately just scrolling endlessly through Craigslist, not just on the jobs board, but also there's just so much good stuff on there. It's really underrated.
Well, I just added a bunch of people to my co-star, so we'll see how that goes. Ooh. Man, being a farmhand for mushrooms sounds so fucking good. Okay,
I was pretty excited when I saw that.
Check out this fucking description, though. If anybody out there is like us, we are looking for someone who is self-motivated and enjoys working alone. We farm for the lifestyle, and we want to find someone who can enjoy staying busy with us. There's just a picture of a fuck ton of mushrooms. When everything goes as planned, the job doesn't change much. We need someone flexible, but let's see, willing to go home early or stay late from time to time. Like, let's be real. It even says in the description, the work is not too physically demanding. It just requires someone to be on their feet and handle 10-pound bags of mushrooms. Or 10-pound bags of mushroom substrate. I would fucking do this job in a second. If this job was even, like, remotely close to town, I would fucking already be there.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to, like, figure out a way that it would make any sense, but no, I don't think. I'm scrolling through the misconnections because I fucking love reading these.
Yeah, misconnections are fucking funny as hell.
Really good.
There used to be a lot of misconnections on the bus in the, like, Seattle Stranger, and every once in a while, I think there were like 2 or 3 over the course of a few years that were almost certainly me, and that was very funny.
Yeah.
Misconnections are great.
Yeah.
Out here, if you're like even slightly recognizable, I bet you're in them regularly because like there's nobody here when it comes to like actual people.
A lot of people that look very similar. I've always wondered, like, I bet pretty much everyone at some point has been a misconnection on somewhere, like.
Yeah.
But we'll just never know.
That's what I was letting our mutual friend fuck around with my Tinder so that they could see like the people who are out here. It's so fucking homogenous.
Yeah.
Go look at Charlie Kirk's wife. Take it down like a number grade. Take it down for the you don't have a ton of money number grade, and then just copy and paste while slightly deforming the image a million times. That is everybody who's out here. Sometimes you can tint the hair darker, but that's about it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of variety. But, I mean, unfortunately, this is the most variety that Idaho has to offer, generally. Except for, like, Moscow's pretty alright, but they're all college students, so.
Yeah, that's not really great. Honestly, this podcast right now has more variety in it than most of Idaho.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so think about that.
It's upsetting, but it is true.
Yeah.
Idaho Tinder really is something else.
I'm changing my name to Idaho Tinder. That's going to be the name that I produce these intro songs to. Is
Idaho Tinder. That's pretty good. Oh, that opens up the opportunity for so many good song titles.
Yeah.
Like, Look at This Fish by Idaho Tinder.
Look at this fish.
Here's a group of people. Which one am I? You'll never know by Idaho Tinder.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of things that work with the word homogenous, and all I could think of was Homage Crew, and I kind of like it, but in like a bad way. My Homage Crew. Also, there could be references to like wearing flannel even though you don't need it. There could be
a lot of camo.
When I was talking to you guys about like Idaho Tinder's Selection, Pie Face, I think could be a name in there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite flavor of White Claw could be a song title, because that's probably the first question you're going to get from anybody out here if you're trying to date. Did you see that brown guy the other day? That could probably be a song title for Idaho Tinder. Maybe Hitler Was Right could be an Idaho Tinder song.
You could make a whole song just about like the 3 names of people that are on Tinder. Like, fuck, what was it? A lot of Brian's, Matt's.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all different different versions of Matt.
It was, yeah, Brian and Matt. There was a lot of those. And then there was something else that was coming up a bunch. Ryan? I think it was Brian,
Yeah.
Ryan, and Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was...
Brian, Ryan, and Matt. That's a good song title.
Yeah, Brian, Ryan, and Matt could be... I don't... It would just have to be like a really, really subpar track with like a guy occasionally saying some things that just sound like boring things to do. Hey, do you want to meet at the bar? And then like a really, really stagnant beat, and then hey, your shoes are cool, and then more like just...
You don't look a lot like your pictures.
You seem kind of fatter than your pictures. Doom, 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 doom. I mean, artistically, I think we could make this happen.
Yeah. I think this could be an overnight success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did just see like a couple bands the other night that are like fine, but like drew a pretty decent crowd, including that Michelle lady who, I guess shout outs to you if you're watching this, but the lady who like helped create Tree Fort out here, had a conversation with her about how much she hates being shouted out on things, including that show that I went to. Yeah. And then there was another guy in that group of people that I was with, and even though he was coming from Canada down to like the desert to live, and he's just staying here for a few days, his name is Greg, so he fits in perfectly.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's a really good...
I got a lot of Brian's
solid item
that you can hang out with out here, Greg.
You'll fit right in.
Yeah. So for like a couple of nights, it's not 4 tallish white guys in this house, it's 5. So, and one of them's a drummer.
You could make a band.
Well, actually, so the Greg guy is a drummer from like a relatively well-known band. Matt here plays electric guitar. I mean, I don't have instruments here, but I play stuff, and also, I mean, I do have an instrument here. And then I'm sure Mark plays something. He can't have been a tall white man his whole life and not play an instrument. Come on.
He probably is just holding out on all of us and has like an amazing, insane singing voice.
He's a great singer, and he's got a trombone.
Amazing.
That's my guess.
Probably. Yeah. Hard to do both at once, but...
You could see Mark out there, like, doing this, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's a Mark thing.
That does... I could see that. I could see that pretty well. I'm going to go grab my water.
Okay.
And I will... shortly. Also, pee.
All right. Musical interlude time. Here, I'll bring this back up.
Fantastic.
Huh. Says it's elected as best beer in the world. That seems ostentatious. guess that intro kind of sounds like it could be in like a video game from the early 90s. It's not the worst. Here, let's try something. Let's adjust all of the musical inputs. Worse. There we go. There's only four gadgets feeding into this track. I'll leave the synth wobble for now. But I can adjust this down so that it sounds nice and weird. Let's get a, okay, so we had a synthesized acoustic bass running the main line on this before. And the acoustic bass sounds like this, like a nice round sound. So let's adjust it. Oh, that's gonna sound bad. I mean, if you're watching this, give me a heads up. If you want a certain type of theme on one of the upcoming intros, I'll take it. Ooh, that's the one. That's gonna be in there on that track. So, yeah, if you want like something more thematically like, I don't know, just sounding like a certain type of show intro. I'm not going to do vocals. I think that's probably pretty clear. Okay, that'll work. As much as it would be cool to like produce out a full song, it's too much work to do it for just the intro every week. But here, let's try this weird version of this. I'm not going to change the levels, so it should be just completely fucked. That's all. Oh. Holy shit. Okay, that ending bit was pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Now that we've tried something that might work, let's try something that can't work. Yeah. I don't have any user presets on this guy. Okay. Really beat heavy. Okay, all right. So this should be this. So, side note, my problem with the little bit of plastic in the back of my throat is fucking bad here in Idaho, and the fact that it is going back and forth between frozen and also like zero humidity. I think it's like 15% humidity or something, but it's way lower than Seattle. This is just ruining my throat. And it tastes like plastic and blood. So, like, my day is so-so. Anyway, let's try this out. All right. Welcome to my new fan level from Legend of Zelda.
That reminded me a lot like that one room in your Animal Crossing house.
Yeah. I paid off my Animal Crossing house, and then this is like in the last couple weeks, I found sort of a money loophole, and I bought an extended storage, which gave me like, I think I can store 2,400 items or something. So I deconstructed all the rooms that I had, and I have reconstructed new rooms, which is what I've been angling for a while, because I didn't want to like sell all my stuff. I wanted to keep it, but be able to make new stuff. So I don't have that room anymore, but I have a much more unsettling room in its place.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a pretty unsettling room, but in
Thank you.
very cool kind of way.
Unsettling rooms is sort of my my Animal Crossing theme.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not a bad thing.
Coffee time.
How did you like the delirium?
It was good. I just finished it while you were gone. Did you notice that it says elected as best beer in the world on it?
Nope.
Yeah, it says it under the elephant. I'm kind of curious. I might look that up. Anyway,
those elections are held and where?
I feel like, so I know that it's not going to be an especially giant overview of what we watched the other night when we were supposed to be podcasting and didn't, but I do think it's an important overview for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to get like a weird cutoff point in like 15 minutes. So I think any other topics you have, we should try and get out of the way now, and then if we cut off a piece of this episode, we can have it be just our discussion on that stuff.
I think I already worked in all my topics.
Okay, well, I have a topic, and that is, so I don't watch TV. I watch stuff on the internet, like a normal person. Do you see a lot of the YouTube ads that come up in this area? Like, do you watch very much stuff on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is kind of, like, it's completely different than Seattle, but it is just the most insane bullshit. So, let me know if you've seen this commercial. It's a sad medical worker in a mask, kind of like staring down at the middle distance, and it starts talking about like, are you feeling stressed? And it then cuts to like somebody who I think is like, so it's a medical worker, and then it's like somebody in like a larger like doctor's office, and then I'm trying to think of what the next one is. Eventually it's like a guy in the back of a truck with a bunch of like electrician's gear, and it's an Idaho. This is the only COVID thing I've seen that's actually like Idaho run for real. It is a COVID helpline for if you're stressed about having to work like these essential workers jobs. it does not say anything about getting vaccinated. It doesn't say anything about actually like doing anything that the like prevailing idea of like protecting yourself from COVID is. It just says, are you stressed out? We have like stress counselors to help you deal with it so you can get back to work.
Great.
And I have seen that commercial at least 3 times a day since I've gotten here. Like it
I've
is
seen that one actually.
constant. And it's a like Idaho State, like it is a government commercial, and it is always on. And like maybe it's just the stuff I'm watching is more, I don't know, something. But
I get a lot of
car
I get a lot of,
commercials.
well, yes, actually that too, but I get mostly just ads like advocating that people get the vaccine. So I get a fair amount of those.
I've not gotten those.
Really? I know, like, I don't know, I kind of tune them out to a point where it's hard to even really remember. I know a few times I have gotten some, like, at-home religious kids workbook program for, like, making sure that your kids aren't brainwashed at school or something. Can't remember what it's called. Does that sound familiar to you at all? You got that one?
I haven't seen that, and I don't think that would be targeted at all. It doesn't seem like it's similar to anything you would have done.
No, I don't think so. I don't know why I would be getting that. But, no, but I have noticed actually since I got my new phone that, and I haven't logged in on the YouTube app on it, all my ads are like just all over the place because they're not really I haven't connected it to any of my data yet.
Yeah, I keep most of my stuff off of my account.
Yeah. I think my YouTube on my previous phone was like signed into my actual like Gmail, everything. So I had access to all of that. So I was getting some pretty targeted stuff, but since I've had this one, it's been interesting seeing like the variety of ads that I get as opposed to before. Now I get stuff in like Spanish, and I'm like, oh.
Nice. I get a lot of stuff in Spanish, but I know why, and it's the dumbest reason.
So watching a lot of Muzzy?
No. I mean, yes, but that may have contributed to it. So, Muzzy background, you kind of get where I'm coming from.
Yes.
I used to look up constantly my favorite genre of conspiracy videos, like as a larger group, not as just like individual videos. There's better ones out there. There is a group of people who will do Spanish language conspiracies, and they don't have like, I don't really understand. So like the thing we do is the easiest thing to do. We are on camera. We literally get that feed and just put it online.
Right.
These people are taking the time to edit a audio track to have visuals throughout what they're saying. So they're doing the work, but it's
like
Spanish.
A video essay kind of thing?
Yeah. It's like a video essay with like full editing visually. Like audio editing, not so much, but if it's there, I can't really tell. But it is Spanish language 9/11 videos that use Dragon Ball characters and stuff like that. And you haven't lived until you've gone in and seen people talking about Building 7 with like Gogeta and Trunks and stuff like as the characters that they're showing, and been like, and this is what the Illuminati was trying to do. And after I started watching a lot of those videos, I started getting like Tony the Tiger video, or like commercials, but all in Spanish, and like stuff like that. Like essentially the commercials you would see on Univision, you would get on my YouTube. And it was, I like that spread for YouTube.
I like the variety.
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I'll just let a Spanish commercial run because like it's more interesting than
It's just something different.
the huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I let a Spanish car commercial run this morning, and I was just like, wow, just different words, and it's always really funny because at the end the taglines are still in English.
Yeah.
I think it was an ad for Chevrolet, so it's all in Spanish, and at the end it's like, I don't know, pave new roads or go your own way or some stupid Chevrolet tagline.
Whatever the fuck Chevrolet is into now.
Yeah.
I will say Spanish language commercials have way better narrators.
Yeah, they do. They're way more engaging than the ones that we get.
It's like they give a shit.
Yeah.
Ours are all some version of Chris Pratt. As is all voice acting in the United States the last few years.
What the fuck was her name? Anna Lynn McDuck. I don't remember her name.
Anna Lynn McDuck. Yeah. She has a lot of very similar sounding stuff.
Those chips look good. Those were really good.
Yeah, they are really good.
I'm gonna get those on my next trip if they're still there.
I'm gonna get these on your next trip.
Good idea.
Also, they don't hide in the Thailand version of these chips. They don't hide as much that it's part of PepsiCo as they do in the American version.
Huh.
Which is.
I really like it when you can find the bags of chips that have an added label on them that are like, these definitely cause cancer. Like, just letting you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm like,
these chips?
Give it to me.
They're basically like a combination of a bunch of shit that will kill you.
Yeah. But it'll taste really good first.
Oh, it tastes really good.
You can have your Korean barbecue chips, and you can have your cancer, all in one.
Hi. So these videos are almost certainly going to cut off before we get to the video chat. So I think to preempt that, I'm going to use the bathroom. And I will, and whenever I move my screen, it's always such a fucking crapshoot. Okay. Yeah. I will use the bathroom, and that's going to be your opportunity to entice people musically or whatever it is you're going to do. Here, if you want to use this, I'll set it right here.
Yeah,
you can
thanks.
grab it if you want.
I mostly just want to take this opportunity to show everyone these gigantic lightsaber chopsticks that Alex got me for Christmas. They are completely and totally unusable, but they're really cool and they light up and actually put off a pretty good amount of light. Like, looks pretty cool, actually. Very lightsabery. They got little buttons on the bottom. I like them a lot. It's a good Christmas gift. What else do I have to entertain the masses with? I guess I can get into this. We can try this candy bar, the bourbon. This feels like very squishy. So I really don't know what to expect here. It's very, feels like a nougat maybe. So let's here's this up close so everyone can kind of see. Try and open this. Okay. Oops. I was trying to smell it. Oh, this is very crumbly. Okay. Kind of smells. There's not a whole lot of smell. Maybe like a little bit like a buttercream frosting. Wow, this is super crumbly. This is like a really dry tamale outer shell. This is what came up. Okay. Kind of actually like a cake. Wait, this is straight cake. Wait, this is just a tube of cake. Oh my god. Yeah. This is just, oh, it's like lemon. It's like a little tube of lemon flavored cake. Wow. That's pretty good. Dang. I was not expecting that. The more you chew it, the less cakey and more frostingy. It kind of like coats the mouth a little bit, but the flavor is still really good. This would actually be great to like, I don't know, maybe like as a topping for something. I don't really feel like finishing this, but that's cool. How come they get all the cool candy? Why can't we have anything cool? Candy wise. This tahini and pickle salt combination for the Modelo is very good, but I think I would advise people not to go overboard on both, because I think I've given myself a mild sodium poisoning both times I've tried this, because I tend to go a little overboard on the pickle salt. But it's very good. I just realized that the distributor of this salt, their website is called twang.com. So I'm gonna give that a visit and see if there's any more flavors of pickle or just beer salt that we're missing out on. Because so far I have experienced, in order from best to worst, pickle salt, lime salt. I guess I actually haven't had the lemon salt, but that exists. And there is also enchilada salt, which is fine, but not as good as like tahini would be. Tahini is a perfectly doable substitute for that. Wow. 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 So, I was noticing just now that the company that makes the beer salt is called Twang, and they had their website twang.com printed on the bottle, and I went to it, and it's really good.
Okay.
The this is the homepage. It just says, "Welcome to the Flavor Factory."
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I was hoping that there was gonna be like more flavors of salt, and I guess there are some.
From Texas.
Mhm.
Their graphic design isn't terrible. They got that weird little goo thing.
Yeah.
Somebody knows how to use layers properly.
Yeah, this is
That's not
a lot of like interesting flat design characters. They have a cool pickle man at the bottom.
I didn't get to the bottom.
You gotta get to the bottom of twang.com.
Well, I hope you enjoy constantly getting this pickle man from now on.
Wait, can you save him as a...
Yeah, he's a clear-backed PNG or whatever, so you can pickle man all over the place.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized I've totally been very much underutilizing the fact that you can save PNGs.
Yeah.
And send them.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite stupid things to do with stuff.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, here's a pickle man right back at you.
Loading? Yeah.
Wait, I haven't sent it yet. I'm waiting for the right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh! I see.
Yeah.
You definitely one-upped my pickle man. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Man. Yeah, I forgot you could do that. A while ago, I did a cutout.
Yeah.
I did a really dumb cutout of Alex and would just repeatedly send him this cutout of himself like that.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty good.
I mean, it's a very effective way to deluge somebody with one image.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So, I think now, let me just pull up the chat real quick. It may not be quite there yet. Hey, this is the amount of professionalism you expect from us. So I guess what I'm saying is this may not be at the beginning of our second video, but at the end of our first video, hey, it's how we do it. Get used to it.
How it goes.
So we're gonna, before we go, discuss two things. I think it's just two things that we watched. Instead of doing our podcast like 3 days ago, like we were going to, which to be fair, it made total sense at the time. We had various emergencies that we might need to respond to, and we also timed things strangely, but we also had maybe a little bit to drink. Whatever the case may be, we ended up watching The Eternals, and I just want to start off our Eternals talk by saying that movie fucking sucks.
It was really bad.
Yeah. Give me a feeling that you got from The Eternals. This is the end of last year's Disney's The Eternals.
A feeling?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something else I've seen to liken it to.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was just like supremely and miraculously boring.
Yes.
I don't really know how else to describe it. Like, there weren't any characters that I felt much invested in at all. I kind of liked Sprite. Was that their name?
The Eternal Child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Sprite.
Yeah, I kind of liked that storyline, I guess.
Sprite was the only person who was like slightly different Sprite and the guy who got into Bollywood, the Camille Nanjiani character.
Yeah, Kumail.
Mm-hmm. They
I
were
liked
fine.
him, but he was only in it for like not very long at all. How long was that movie in total? Because it felt very long.
It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It was long.
Okay. So it wasn't just my brain making that up.
So it wasn't just your brain, but it was also like, so Matt was watching some of that with us, and when we got to the part where they were in the Amazon, I remember him saying like, oh no, it's like, this is maybe the halfway mark, and both of us were like, no, it's got to be further than that. And it was literally the halfway mark. It was so fucking upsetting. I do remember that. We were like an hour and 16 minutes in, and nothing has happened. And by the end of that movie, nothing has happened. It has 2 Starks from the Game of Thrones in it, and neither one is interesting. One
has
is
Angelina Jolie in it.
Yep. That's the thing. It has Camille Nanjiani, but then it has Angelina Jolie. I just got a text from somebody, podcast based, that says, does that say flavor country? Yes. It has Camille Nanjiani, who is like the most interesting character. Him and Sprite. I don't know who Sprite is because it's a child actor. It has God, I couldn't remember her name when we watched it, and I can't now.
There's like a decent amount of famous people.
Oh yeah.
In this one.
Well, like the character you follow the most is Gemma Chan.
Oh right, yeah.
But then it has Dust Till Dawn stripper, and it also has 2 Game of Thrones Starks, Robb Stark and Jon Snow in it. Robb Stark plays essentially a shitty Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And Jon Snow plays a character that in the future is going to be Black Knight. But like, even if you are a big comic book nerd, nobody gives a shit about the Black Knight. Who could possibly care? There's 2 post-credit scenes, but one of the post-credit scenes is him looking at the enchanted sword. And then you asked at the end, do you know who that voice is? And it's fucking Blade. It's the new Blade character that they're going to have, who's played by Mahershala Ali.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's just upsetting. Like, Blade is funny. Blade is a shitty character, but Blade is like a fun character. I would watch a Blade movie before I would watch any of the Eternals in a movie. And it's just his voice from off screen going like, hey man! That's it. Like, there's nothing to it. And then it has Harry Styles show up in a post-credit scene with Patton Oswalt.
Oh yeah.
And Patton Oswalt is a computer-generated Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt.
It is so stupid.
They had to have spent so much money to make this exact copy in stature of Patton Oswalt, who is playing. His
face still looks kind of the same too. Like, it could have just been him in a costume.
Yeah, I don't understand. It must have been like something that he just didn't want to do. Maybe he was like, no, I can't. My face can't.
I think it's just that Disney has stupid ideas and they want it to be a computer character.
And they can afford it, I guess. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but it's Patton Oswalt. Like, why wouldn't you want? Especially when the whole entire movie is just like cameos of famous people.
And I fucking hate that they're bringing. First off, the threat of a second Eternals movie is like that you shouldn't. But also, like, they brought in Harry Styles to play Star Fox, who is a character that no one could possibly give a shit about. A character that's so inconsequential that there is no legal trouble that there is a Nintendo Star Fox because nobody cares about Star Fox. He's nothing. He doesn't matter. And
I don't think he plays Star Fox. I think he just plays Harry Styles.
Yeah. He just shows up and says some Harry Styles shit at the camera. But Star Fox is Thanos' brother who nobody cares about and like doesn't really matter in the long run. Like it may as well be like making a giant deal about the Collector from the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. Like those characters exist, but like if you're doing the stories you're doing as Disney right now, they don't matter. Like it doesn't have any impact on anything. Now, I did watch the Marvel If series, and they do bring in like a more substantial version of the Collector, which I believe they had a sound alike for Benicio del Toro, which is already like just not good. I can't remember exactly. I don't think it was him, but even if it was him, it was bad. I don't know. So we both agree Spider-Man is fun and like Iron Man is fun, but there's like not a lot in between that's very interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, that's about the extent for me.
Okay.
That I really care about.
So like I've watched most of the Marvel stuff from Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and the Hawkeye show to the Marvel If. I also watched the fucking Star Wars like If stuff. I forget what that's called. It's like their side stories. Disney is just making a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is garbage. And some of it's kind of neat, but a lot of it is garbage. Like Natalie and I of Natalie's Shady Fiction Warehouse, which go watch that video I clipped out from the story from last podcast if you can. It's really, really something. I do have an order in for the next story. So the next podcast we should have some action. It's you'll see. It's not what you would expect, I don't think. But we watched all of the Marvel stuff that was side stories and all of the Star Wars stuff that's side stories. Natalie coming into it saying, I hate all of this stuff now because of what they're doing with it. And me coming into it from like, it's always been dumb, but like, I'll fucking watch it because I want to see what the overarching storyline is. And like some of the Star Wars stuff was okay. Like almost 100% of the Marvel stuff was garbage. But then found out that the Marvel side story stuff is the main story chunk outside of the movie universe for the upcoming Marvel arc for like the Doctor Strange stuff and all of that. And like I'm still excited for the Doctor Strange movie because not only is Doctor Strange apparently a linchpin in the Spider-Man movie that just came out, which neither of us have seen, but also he is the like setting off point for the rest of the Marvel stuff. And that movie that's coming out, the what it's Doctor Strange and the like Universe of Madness or something.
Yeah.
That movie is apparently being done by Sam Raimi, who did the original, like late '90s, early thousands Spider-Man movies, I think. So, like, it could be interesting. Sam Raimi did Xena, so like, could be good. Maybe he'll jam Bruce Campbell in there. I haven't seen the Spider-Man movie yet, so like that would be kind of funny. Bruce Campbell being the star of the Army of Darkness series, the Evil Dead movies.
Oh, okay.
But he's friends with Sam Raimi, and he put him in all of his Spider-Man movies. So like, it's pretty possible that he could exist in that set of stuff just because, like, it's Spider-Man and Doctor Strange now. Anyway, seeing the storyline they're going with to set up the Doctor Strange stuff is kind of a bummer because they're like bringing in some of the dumbest shit. And one of those things they're bringing in is Blade. So like it does kind of stand up to scrutiny on what the plans are. I think I heard something about like even though at the end of the Eternals it said stay tuned for the sequel to the Eternals. I think I heard something about how like maybe that's not gonna happen now, which is funny.
That's embarrassing. I do remember specifically seeing that on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, that's a choice.
We were drinking during that movie as though we hoped we wouldn't remember it, and unfortunately I remember all of it.
I don't remember very much of it, and yet I still feel like I understand the gist of what was going on.
Because nothing happened. So here's a quick synopsis of the fucking Eternals. Some ancient alien shit happens, and they're in Babylon, and they're like in ancient times, and I think they have some flashbacks to like the dinosaurs as though it's a fucking Transformers movie. And they basically say like everything that ever happened to people was the Eternals doing it. Like they have that scene where they're like in Babylon, and one of the characters is like, I'm going to show him how to make a combustion engine. And they're like, nah, you can't do that. And he's like, okay, well, here's a plow. And it's like, really, this is what we're going with when it comes to like interesting story. Like it sucks because on one hand, it's been done 1,000 times. Like it's not interesting to have superheroes just suddenly be the only reason why people advanced, but it's also shitty because we keep trying to like distance popular culture from things like Ancient Aliens that are like very subdued but like extremely racist, where it's like Egyptians could never figure this out, or like it wasn't until white people in the like 800s that they could boat at all, and it's like, no, we know that that's not true. You just don't pay attention to it because it's in Africa. And they're taking all of those same things and saying like anything that happened in Africa and the Middle East and like India, that was actually like aliens doing it that are mostly white again, and not actually just people doing stuff. And like, I know it's a fantasy movie, but it still is annoying that people won't, like, for all the fucking woke Disney bullshit, like that is not the greatest storyline to stick to for their stuff.
Right. Well, there's not gonna be really any like further introspection into like what exactly that would mean in like the larger picture. It's just like, oh cool, these neat demigods who were also Angelina Jolie and etc. She's the only one I remember for some reason. Gemma-chan, others made all this happen.
Okay, I just have to look her name up. It's so frustrating. I can't remember her name when we watched it, and I can't remember it now. So, Eternals cast. It is
I think I actually just
Selma Hayek. So Selma Hayek, when I was a little kid, was like one of the people that I was like, oh wow, she's so hot. Like that was one of my like celebrity crushes when I was like, 7. And now she's like sort of a hot MILF lady, but like they're just occasionally casting her into like weird roles like this. Really, I think the most important casting in this movie is that they put Gil Birmingham, who's the uncle from Twilight, in it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That's the one that's exciting. Who does he?
No, that is an exciting casting choice.
Yeah.
That's all
I need to see. I don't remember offhand who he played, and now I'm worried that it's like he's just a monster voice or something. Yeah, you don't have to tell me who's in Twilight. Billy! That's his name. Okay, so God, IMDb is so bad on mobile. Where is he uncredited on IMDb? That's weird. That can't be true. That appears to be true. Okay, whatever character he played, people need to get him on IMDb because he is in the official cast listing, and that's strange if it's not being credited. Anyway, he's probably a monster. I don't know. I think the main humanoid monster thing with the tentacles is the guy who played it, that Skarsgård.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I did see him in the cast list.
Which again, it could have been anybody. You don't get that much from that character. Also, that character seems to be so to break down the overarching story and all of the drama. The Eternals are a group of 12 or something initially, like robots that come to Earth and tell people how to do everything that people ever learn to do, especially if they're not white. And then they find out halfway through the movie that and they all have one power. They all have one really specific power, and then they're just sort of generally super other than that. I don't know why Sprite's power appears to just be being a kid, but that is mixed with illusions. Sprite can make illusions.
Make people appear in different outfits that happen to be
make it look like there's more than one mountain. Camille Nanjiani's character can shoot lasers from his finger. Rob Stark's character is Superman. He has eye lasers and he can fly and he's super strong. They just made him just Superman.
That seems like more than one, but okay.
He's the only one though, because then Gemma Chance is super specific. She can turn things into other things. At the early part of the movie, she turns a bus, presumably full of people, or at least a driver, into rose petals. And there's no comment on did you just kill a bunch of people? It's just it's rose petals now.
I forgot about that scene.
And Selma Hayek's character has the ability to commune with the over God thing. That's her power. What's her name? Who you remember?
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie is Athena, who is
really good at fighting.
Yeah, she has the ability to make laser weapons like a few of them do for their power, but hers are like a spear and a shield. There's another guy who is kind of the same, but he's Chinese and he gets fists. He has laser fists. And then there's wasn't there? I think there was another person who could make a weapon of some kind, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, they all just kind of have like a weapon, but their weapons are like not stock enough for it to be like to make like sense. Because the one guy can just control minds, like he just has mind control. And the one lady who for some reason doesn't talk is the Flash. She's just very, very fast. And then there's another guy who I want to say is named after one of the like Vulcan style, like the constructor gods, and he's just like able to make machines.
Yeah, the guy who gives them the ideas.
Yeah. But like that's it is at the beginning set up like, well, they're a team of people with unique skills, so they all have to work together, and they never like focus on that in the entire movie. It's just like thematic stuff. It feels very like cartoon to sell toys in the way they set the characters up.
Yeah. Especially because everyone has kind of like, do they each have like a color scheme too? A little bit, I think.
Kinda, yeah.
Like very superhero-y, yeah.
Like they're superhero-y, but only in the ways that you can attach to toys, not in any of the ways that you can make a movie about them. All the action scenes look like dog shit. Like their fighting is just like bright colors that are like flashing on screen, and it may as well be them fighting with glow sticks. Like they could put a rave on screen with the characters in it and say it's a conflict, and that would be just as interesting, honestly.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Yeah, if they changed that movie so that every single scene where they were fighting was them having sex, same movie, they could just say like, "Oh, it's how we solve conflict." Like nothing that they do means anything. And the beginning of the movie is we're all super people, and the end of the movie is we're all super people, and like there's no real anything in the middle except the Earth is an egg for a big man, and they turn the big man to stone at the end. There's the whole plot. Like that's literally the whole plot.
Yeah, and now there's like some new enemies that are like aware of this happening, and we have to fight them in the second one, I guess.
Sure.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
I think the end cliffhanger is we're gonna put you on trial, maybe. Like that's it. And
stay tuned for the sequel of The Trial.
Yeah, they should get the people who made the O.J. Simpson show. It's just maybe they'll have a procedural and they'll have a She-Hulk. That's a movie I would at least watch. It's just She-Hulk as the lawyer, like she does in her comic book, and then defending the Eternals.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And maybe they get the Eternals would be the rich people with like the fancy She-Hulk defense lawyer, and then the people being like, I guess Planet Earth could have their representation from Daredevil, because I think he was a public defender, so they could have him come in and do the courtroom drama against She-Hulk.
And then David Rudolph for good measure.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know. The Eternals sucks. Watch The Eternals if you like movies that are so boring that you need to do something else.
Long.
There were like 3 times during that movie where we were legitimately going to just not watch it anymore, and we just like, because nobody had the energy to turn it off, it eventually ended. Like, that's essentially how good the Eternals was.
Yeah. I think the only way we made it through is because we were drinking, and
yes,
it just happened to us.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. There's no other way it could have happened, honestly. So that's the Eternals. I guess watch it if you're a masochist, or if like you have to know. I would suggest it. Like, I would suggest a lot of things. I'm gonna make Madison watch a movie called A Goat Story, and holy shit, is that bad? But at least it's interesting. It's gonna be scarring. I'm
more interested in watching A Goat Story than I am the Eternals. So.
Yeah, no, and legitimately, it is much better than the Eternals.
I have no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. I will enjoy it more.
Yeah. So we have one more thing we watched. Okay, I'm gonna have a little Chardonnay and Faygo for this last bit.
I think it. Are you talking about Love Is Blind?
I am. Yes.
I think it almost might be worth holding off on Love Is Blind because I think they're coming out with the last episode.
Okay.
This week.
On
Friday, and
I'm so down to see the rest.
Okay, good. Because I think the last one that came out last Friday was the weddings.
Okay.
So the next one.
I haven't seen that part yet.
Yeah, so I won't spoil anything, obviously. Okay. But I think the next one that's coming out will be like the reunion of all of the people.
Okay.
Which will be fantastic to watch. And I could talk for probably about an hour and a half just about Love Is Blind.
Excellent. I look forward to our deep discussion about Love Is Blind because that show is fucking nuts. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest watching. We're watching season 2 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be caught up before we talk about it, watch season 2 of Love Is Blind on Netflix. It's worth it. It's real weird.
Yeah, honestly, both seasons are pretty worth watching. I started rewatching the first one